Good morning in the morning.
Prop cultures. No, not in the morning, in the afternoon. Sun is
Mm.
shining.
I know. It is. It is. I'm still stuck in snow here with parts of the town still without electricity, but it's beautiful and sunny, so always look on the bright side of life.
Well, I've never been happier to be in Belgium at this time. It's like 18 degrees, sunny. All the narcissus are out. I love this time of year.
Narcissus.
Narcissus. Narcissi.
Oh my
Daffodil,
goodness.
daffodils. Is that the same?
Daffodils?
Daffodil? Isn't that the same plant? It is.
I have no clue.
I think it's the same. And we actually have some news about it. So
Okay.
this
Okay.
was a good segue.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, just tell us what we're going to talk about today, Tanya.
All right. So
You always
obviously
forget.
we're going to have some news, and then I'm going to be talking about our latest project, and I want to discuss something with the community about the community. And then we're going to have a look at the ethics of a repost. We're going to be talking about plant copyright theft, and we'll finish out with rating weird plants.
Of course, as we always do. Cue the jingle.
Crop culture, spilling the plenty.
Okay. Okay, let me start with first news. It's, again, a Google alert I got, of course. The title was an, a rediscovered plant in South Africa after 200 years. I'm always a bit suspicious about that when I read that news. The article was about the rediscovery of a plant called Prismatocarpus fastig. Oh no, Prismatocarpus fastigiatus.
Oh my God, that's a mouthful.
Yes, sounds lovely, right? So
Mhm.
in 2024, a biodiversity officer called GP Leroux, I love that name, JP Leroux. He stumbled upon the plant about 12 kilometers south of New Outville on the Bokkeveld Plateau in South Africa. These are all Dutch names, so I love that I can just pronounce them in Dutch. And they uploaded some pictures of the plant to iNaturalists, where experts and amateur botanists, including Hugo de Waal, who is a specialist in this family of plants, confirmed its identity. The weird thing is that this plant was last recorded seen in 1830 by a German collector. So it was actually widely assumed that the plant was extinct. Now, why was this plant found again now? For 2 centuries, botanists who were looking for the plant were actually looking about 300 kilometers away from the plant where the plant was now found, because they were based on a wrong map or a wrong description where the last plant was seen. And also, the plant was actually blooming in an off season. It flowers in the height of summer, a time when most botanists aren't in the fields compared to popular spring and autumn seasons. So it stayed hidden for 200 years. But now that the exact location is known, scientists can formally assess its status and actually protect it better from any further habitat loss. So I think, yeah, that's some good news. There have been some more plants that have actually been recently rediscovered, and a lot of them were actually rediscovered in South Africa. Apparently, many South African plants are fire dependent, which means that they can only germinate after a blaze. So they might remain dormant or invisible for many, many years until a fire occurs. But also the platforms like iNaturalist, they allow more possibilities for amateur botanists or botanists to upload pictures so they can be recognized. So they are putting 1,000 more eyes on those plants to be rediscovered and refound. So yeah, I really like this kind of news. It's something that, you know, some positive news amongst some less
Definitely.
positive news. Yeah.
Definitely. Do we have a link to the flower? Do we know what it looks like or to the plant?
Yeah. Do you want to see it?
Yeah,
Well, I can send you the link here. See, that's why we do the share screen.
it's okay. We can share links. Okay, that's cute.
Yeah. It's not super weird. It has some blue on the inside of the, if you scroll down, like to zoom.
Oh, yeah, that's gorgeous. With the little purple antenna at the end of the
Yeah.
what do you call that stem in a flower? Like inside the flower.
The stem inside the flower.
Yeah, that connects from the center. You see there's that white long thing with a purple ball at the end?
It's
Yeah,
called,
that's not aroid.
I
That's
no, but
it
I know the name in Dutch, but not in English. Like,
no.
let me Google it. Pistil.
Oh, okay. Interesting. I see. I'm gonna have to learn a lot more about plant anatomy outside of the aroid sphere. For those of you that don't know, what makes an aroid is the inflorescence with the
Yeah, but
spadix and the spade.
they also have pistils, the individual
Oh, they're
flowers.
tiny, no?
They
Like
are tiny. Yeah.
microscopic. Yeah.
Well, sometimes they're bigger, but yeah, they're mostly a lot smaller than what you see on the picture.
Hmm. Cool. All right. So, shall we move to the next item?
Please do.
I want to put you in the mood. Imagine there's a cold draft going over your skin and you're getting these goosebumps and you're freezing your bum off. I want to talk about the cold snap here in the US. Well, specifically Florida. I think for the past 6, 7 episodes, I've always mentioned how freaking cold it is this year. I don't know if it's just this year. I just know that last
Yeah.
weekend we had a historic blizzard, which is basically just a wintertime hurricane here on Cape Cod, and we had so much snow. And the last time they recorded the snow was in 1978, I believe. All this to say that the US, specifically the East Coast, has seen a really weird winter. And I feel so bad for my friends down in Florida because I guess it's called like the generational cold snap, which happened in late January and early February. Like that totally screwed over the state's agricultural and ornamental plant industry, but also obviously many private collectors because in Florida, many have their collections outdoors, which makes sense. And a lot of people took a really big hit to their collections. Aside from the iguanas falling out of the trees like, I don't know, like oranges dropping when orange trees are in season or the fruit. It was insane. Right. So what makes this perfect storm, and we're gonna put perfect in quotation marks because obviously it was horrible, but it's mainly about the speed of the freezing. So in many areas, we saw temperature drops of like 50 degrees Fahrenheit in just 48 hours. So it was insane. The plants had no way to like harden off or go into dormancy because it just happened so fast. And down in Florida specifically, I just mentioned 1978 for up here in Massachusetts, but in Florida, they hadn't seen temperatures like that like since early 19, probably around 1909. But yeah, then of course you have the wind chill versus the radiation freeze. So it wasn't just that things got really cold and frosted over. There was also a lot of winds. So the real feel of the temperature, sometimes you see that like in your iPhone weather app when it says, I don't know, it's 20 degrees outside, but it feels like 5 or something. That's when the wind comes in, right? And you have very moist air down there or the humidity is high. So that's going to feel even colder. And it's like this blanket of frost just goes over everything.
Maybe I can interject and like maybe just for some background for the people who don't live in the US, like Florida is really southern. It's close to the equator. Well, not close to the equator, but it has like a tropical or subtropical climate, right? Usually.
Yep.
So, like you said, they grow the house plants that we grow inside outdoors or in greenhouses that usually don't need to have heating or any kind of climate control. Yeah, I grow tropicals in greenhouse that doesn't have, or yeah, heating is just very expensive. So temperatures can drop in the winter, like up to maybe 12 degrees Celsius, 10 degrees Celsius. And the plants, they can withstand it. But imagine, like you said, like a quick drop until 0 degrees freezing or even below. That must, I mean, I think, okay, it's one thing to have your plants lost in your garden, but just imagine your greenhouse full of ornamentals just frozen overnight, or even fruit trees or whatever that grow outside. So
Oh, yeah. Speaking of fruit trees, so an interesting thing that we learned is that crop growers, especially of fruit trees and fruit shrubs, they would use overhead irrigation to basically cause a level of or a layer of ice over the plant, because then when that freezes, the plant is basically isolated through the ice at around 32 degrees Fahrenheit, which is just below freezing. And the problem this time was it just got so heavy for the plants that a lot of, trees and shrubs, etc., actually had structural damage. So, snapping limbs and trunks and whatnot. And the issue with all the tropical plants or crops they have down there, think mangoes, avocados, palms, etc., they might still look green and okay right now, but the damage that they took is more internal. Think of bark splitting and the internal vascular damage. So that isn't going to show up until the plants are going to try to push out new growth. So with a lot of these crops, they're not going to see the damage until spring. And when I say crops, I'm talking about blueberries, strawberries, any citrus trees. And then, of course, the landscaping. And I thought this was an interesting point. One article said that many tourist destinations, such like Disney World, had to aggressively prune their tropical foliage back to the ground to save the root systems.
do we have any news on mm, what happened at Silver Chrome with Bill? Did he have
Yeah.
any damage?
If he did, he didn't share it with us.
I remember a call with him where he said, "Well, I was afraid that temperatures would go too low in the greenhouse where I keep my plants." And he said, "Oh, but most plants can handle some cold, like they go up to 10 degrees. That's no problem." And so I instinctively thought of him when I saw the news, like this is a lot lower or worse than what you described. So I hope that all your
I don't
plants are fine.
I don't think inside the greenhouse was all that bad because it's protected obviously from wind.
But now temperatures are fine, right, in Florida?
Yeah, pretty much, pretty much.
Okay. I have some more fun news now.
Okay, go ahead.
I got an email with a note from Google Alert, said they are looking, or they are opening the quest to find the rare pink daffodil. So I was immediately intrigued. The daffodil I know that grows here a lot is usually yellow. Some are like white with an orange at the center. I don't like those at all. And we also have like the full white ones, but like the most ones are yellow. So I did a little bit of research on daffodils, like how many species are there, what kinds or types are there. And Tanya, I tell you, like every species or every genus I research, I fall in love with the weirdos. Like y- open the card like on the Trello. There's such cool plants in there. I added some pictures. Like okay. Anyways, let's talk a bit about the history of the plant, a bit of the cultivation, and what this news was about. So there's a bit of myth around the name of the plant and the narcissus. So you know about the legends of Narcissus, the Greek mythology of the person that fell in love with his own reflection.
Hmm.
Um, well, the botanical name was derived from that person from the Greek mythology. The daffodil is just another name for the narcissus. It's uh, a common name, and there's actually also a connection with the word narkao, the Greek word, which means to grow numb. and it refers to the plant's toxic and sedative properties. So yeah, if you eat it, you usually can eat it only once. Um,
Oh,
there's some history around the narcissus. There's a Greek botanist called Theophrastus. He's called the father of botany, and he documented daffodils as early as 300 BC. So there's a lot of documentation about daffodils. During the Roman era, it was believed that the Romans brought these daffodils to Britain from the Iberian Peninsula. So Spain and Portugal is where they natively grown, and it's also where you can find the greatest variety of wild species that still exist, because all the plants we see around Europe are cultivars. They are selected cultivars of usually one or two species or hybrids between those. Then during the Victorian era, there was actually something called the Daffodil Fever. While the tulips had their mania in the 1600s, the daffodils became a high fashion garden obsession around the late 1800s. And that's also around that time that a person called Sarah Backhouse really got into growing and cultivating daffodils. So Sarah Backhouse lived from 1857 till 1921, and she was a Quaker plantswoman. She has been dubbed a forgotten genius because, yeah, her name is not really that well known unless in the daffodil community. She spent decades
as is,
breeding.
as
Sorry?
is, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but as is so often the case with female scientists, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I'm sorry, go on.
No, but yeah, no, that's definitely right. So she spent decades breeding red-cupped and white daffodils in because she wanted to create the first true pink daffodil. Never been created before, so she wanted to create a true white one and a true red one, and then create a hybrid to have pink daffodils. After her death, there was one true pink daffodil registered in 1923, and it was named after her, the Mrs. R.O. Backhouse. That's the cultivar name. It was a sensation at the time, so it has ivory petals and then this coral pink trumpets. You can see the pictures I added. Very beautiful. So the article actually was talking about a kind of nationwide citizen project that is being run by the Royal Horticultural Society to actually find some of these cultivars. So they are asking Brits to check their gardens if they have any of these rare historic varieties, like the Mrs. R.O. Backhouse that this article was talking about. They are also asking for two other cultivars, but yeah, the article was mainly about this pink daffodil. And so, yeah, since the pink color in daffodils is not really, yeah, I'm not gonna say natural, but like doesn't occur in the wild, it stands out in a garden. So they are hoping to find back some of these, the cultivars from that time. So like I told you, by now there are over 30,000 cultivar varieties
Jeez.
in the daffodil community. Again, I went through I saw so many pictures of so many daffodils, and I was like, yeah, it's the same for aroids. There's one for everyone.
I love the mini varieties.
Yeah,
So cute.
I prefer this. And like the double leafed ones, like the very full ones. So if you want to create a new daffodil variety, you need to take your time. It's a slow process. So breeding a new daffodil is a game of patience. It can take 5 to 7 years to see the first flower from a seed. And then, it takes a lot of time. You need to cross them and then generate new seeds, etc. Like many of the cultivars, there's a UK dominance in there, and it also provides about the half of the global word supply. I would have thought that was the Netherlands, but I guess they only do tulips then. Again, if you want to go deep into the cultivar world of daffodils, there's many division and classifications in the cultivars. So a lot to find about it.
It's probably too late to plant daffodils now, right?
Yeah, you need to do it in fall.
Well, remind me to do that in September or October.
I always do it. I always do it.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. Again, it's my favorite time of year, so I it's something you can do in the garden. Like if you see like the weather deteriorating, like, oh, I'm not ready for winter, you can go like, okay, but if I now put in the bulbs and buy some new ones, I will be happy in spring again.
True, true. Well, I can always go visit my mother-in-law's garden. She lives out in the countryside in the Czech Republic, and she used to be a landscape architect. And
Oh,
yeah, she loves gardening. She has the most gorgeous they have like an old farmhouse, and it's really beautiful. Anyway, I'm going on a tangent.
did you see the full red one, the picture?
I did.
I love it.
Gorgeous.
Okay, that was it about the daffodil.
That was it about the daffodil. Okay, very sweet, very Easter, very springtime. I do like them. I have the feeling that there's something in the back of my mind because my grandmother used to love them so much, and she planted them behind the house. And she would love to bring them inside, in a vase. But I can't remember the story behind it, but I don't know. It's some distant childhood memory that I can't put my finger on. Speaking of which, Grandma. Oh, that was an unintentional segue. Gosh, we're good today. I want to talk about the pine cone trick. I think every elementary school kid probably that takes STEM classes probably knows about the pine cone trick. Personally, I've never used it. I know my partner has, but so it's said that true pine cones act as nature's like a hygrometer. Many people call it like the grandma era secret, and you can apply this for houseplants. So around the pine cone, there's this like really very scientific phenomenon. Just to explain that right quick, you basically take a dry, open cone on top of the potting soil for your houseplant, and if the pine's cone scale are open, the soil and the air is dry, signaling that it's time to water. And if the scales are closed, the soil is still moist and you should wait. And in grandma logic, that spells before digital moisture meters or apps, this was used as a low tech visual dashboard, if you will, for plant health, especially during winter when indoor heating dries out soil unevenly. And that's one of the tricks I haven't seen in the Facebook groups, right? So, like, yeah, interesting. So, as to why do pine cones open and close? Again, probably kids in elementary school know this, but we as adults like to forget stuff we learned in school. So, there's a hygroscopic movement within the cone, and it's like a real biological mechanism where pine cone scales they react different to moisture around them, and it's basically two layers of tissue where like there's contraction going on, etc. And they do this because in nature, these pine cones want to release their seeds when it's dry so the wind can carry them further. And when it's wet or humid, the scales swell up and curl to like protect the seeds from rotting. And then there's the cellular response that is like purely mechanical, does not require like the pine cone to be alive, so to speak. So even a pine cone that has been off the tree for years will still react to the moisture in the air or soil. So does it actually work for houseplants? Personally, I have not tried. But the thing is that the pine cone obviously only reacts to the surface of the soil. So the top inch of soil can be bone dry while the roots at the bottom are like still soaking wet in the medium. So if you only rely on the pine cone, that could lead to overwatering. You can use pine cones as a top layer because basically see it like as mulch. So they slow down evaporation, they keep the soil temperature stable, and could even deter pests like fungus gnats because they wouldn't have access to the moist soil, right? And then, of course, you can use pine cones as a pot filler, meaning at the bottom of large pots to reduce the weight that you're introducing, but also to create this perched water table where water pools just above the pine cones rather than just draining out. So, yeah. What else is there to say about these pine cones? Well, obviously, they're free and eco friendly because no plastics involved. They have an aesthetic.
Yeah, they're pretty.
Like pine cones can be really pretty. And obviously you wouldn't want to go buy the treated ones that you can, get at garden centers, etc. But really go outside. They're fun to do with your kids, right? Kids love nature stuff. You just have to like give them the ability to. Which reminds me, I ordered a microscope for my daughter and I said in a side note to my partner, but I'm going to use it to look at plant pests. Anyway, I'm not
You know,
sleepy at all.
it's scarier than you think. Like the first time I saw a spider mite, it's like, yeah, it's yeah, because you can't see spider mites, and then you see it like zoomed in, and you're like, oh motherfuckers,
Yeah, yeah, they can get
ruining my ruining my plant.
yeah. So, verdict, is it really a trick that we need to adopt in our houseplant collections? I guess it's a helpful secondary indicator, but it's not really a replacement, for the finger test. Or personally, I don't finger test anymore. I lift the pot. Like I can tell by how heavy the pot is, whether or not the substrate is dry or moist. If you use it, do treat it like a check engine light if you want. And of course, if you bring it in from the outside, you're going to want to treat that pine cone for any lingering pests, etc. I guess you could do like a soak in vinegar,
Or in the deep
take,
freezer.
put it in the freezer. You don't want to heat it up, obviously, because that would like kill the mechanism, I guess.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, or maybe just spray it with some neem oil or whatever. Have you ever used pine cones for that? Yes.
I haven't, but I like the idea of the aesthetic, the idea of the aesthetic. Like, I think it's prettier than adding like a device in there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I would have to swap my decoration for that basically, because right now, like all my big pots, they're all adorned with painted rocks that my daughter has made over the years. So there's little color splashes here and there in each pot. I guess I could amend that with the pine cones. I don't know. Maybe I'll try. Maybe I'll try when I get back home.
You can do that. You can find the pine cones near you where you're now, right?
Oh yeah, we have plenty of forests in the Czech Republic, like needle forests.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So that was it for the news. There's a little bit of a sidetrack before we get into the copyright stuff. Number one, by the time we air this episode, we will have a new project up. It's nothing huge and it's completely free. It's called Plant My Event, and it's basically a free event calendar for all plant events. So if you're hosting a plant event or you know of one, please feel free to share that link with event organizers. We just found that there's like no real database out there that holds all plant related events. So yeah, that should be fun. It's just plantmyevent.com. And then that kind of segues into building community. I got a Google alert again this past week, and it highlighted a Facebook post where a public library was sharing events that they were holding that were driven by their members of the library. And somebody was going to host an event or do an event at their local library talking about potting medium or potting substrates. And I thought, what a sweet idea. Like to expand your network outside of, you know, Facebook groups and Instagram posts and threads themed for houseplants. You'll have a free event location. The library in your area will probably love having more events for their members. And so basically, what I'm trying to say, long story short, I love that people are thinking more about in-person events
Mhm.
to build community. And I'd love to hear ideas from our listeners, what they do, if they do anything, to get into that community vibe. Like, where do you meet plant people? Do you organize stuff? Is it important to you to meet plant people in person, aside from going to these shows and expos and markets where it's all about, buying and whatnot? But to really like, do things together. I know a friend of mine, she gets together with her girlfriends I think every 6 or 8 weeks, and they just do plant chores together at one of the girls' houses, and they have prosecco and snacks and,
Oh
like,
my God. I love it.
right?
I love it. I think people underestimate the need that most people have to have communities.
Yeah.
I think we've forgotten that. I see it with the musical and the choir I'm in also, like the singing and the playing, that's nice. And we want to do that. But the reason why we're there is because we feel part of a community and we see people we like and love. And I think we've forgotten that. And I really believe that we can reintroduce that with a common interest that is plants. And I'm 100% sure that, or at least that's what we are trying to achieve with things like plant provenance and the extended features that will be on there. Just getting people really interacting, people that have a common interest. You
Yeah,
don't need to have anything else in common. You know that you all love plants. Now connect with each other.
correct, yeah.
So that's the goal.
Yeah, like I said, guys, if you have any great ideas, share them in the comments under the Substack post or wherever it is you find this episode, YouTube, etc., and share your ideas for building community.
All right, now maybe let's get a little bit more serious.
Yes.
So we have an article about the ethics of the repost. I saw a Facebook post in the group Houseplant Enthusiasts, I think from 2 days ago, where a user was warning the members that there was a Facebook page that was stealing content from another user. So the Facebook page was named Plant Guy J, and they were using content of a person called Paige Taylor Johnson. First they were accusing the first guy of stealing the content of Paige, but then other people were reacting like, yeah, Plant Guy J is also a valid content creator, so I think this is just a copycat impersonating the Plant Guy J and then using the content of Paige just to gain, yeah, because they both are popular content creators to gain followers. So it got me thinking, like, is this something that happens a lot in the plant community? And I have experienced it myself a few times in a Facebook group that I run. See people like sending me messages like this person is posting a sales post and they are using pictures that do not belong to them, so they are a scammer. And so it happens quite a lot where content is being used that was not from the people that use it. So we're talking plant theft. It usually refers to physical poaching or stealing plants, but we also have the digital side where we see people using the intellectual property of other content creators. And it's something I think that's been going on for quite some time, but it's increasing in the recent years. We've seen, for instance, there was something called the Monstera fruit incident in early 2025, where there was a viral post on Reddit of somebody announcing that their Monstera plant finally grew fruit and they were showing it off, and it gained a lot of traction by other users, a lot of upvotes before it was then being outed that the content was stolen from another creator. And this actually sparked a community-wide discussion on this kind of users that steal content just to create attention or create interaction. We also see a rise of paywalled content with platforms like Substack, where you can have some content behind a paywall, but also other websites where creators are offering basic knowledge behind a paywall. So, for instance, like a specific soil mix recipe for some kind of plants, they are putting this kind of information behind a paywall, but actually this content was before already widely available on the internet. So users then do something that's called content scraping, where they take information from the internet, put it all together, and yeah, they charge money for it. But also the other way around, where people really create unique content or content based on knowledge that only they know. And then later that information is taken, that paid information is taken and reposted for free just to have traction or followers. So it's something that sparks a lot of discussion because it leads to debates whether something like a soul recipe can even be owned under an IP law, a law or not. And then lately, I have not experienced it myself, but there have been some news also of AI face swapping scams where like AI videos are created with faces of well-known content creators or influencers where they are promoting some kind of products and they are using their likeness or trusted face and information to sell even rare plants or rare seeds or variegated plants. I have not witnessed it myself, but it has been reported, yeah, since 2024.
Would we know if we'd seen it?
I
Then
I
how
I
could
would
AI?
always, yeah, I would think so. Or like if content creator that you know that usually doesn't do something like that would then like explicitly promote selling a plant, it would raise. I think
Yeah.
so, yeah.
Okay, let's talk intellectual property themes in the plant community. So what is or let's look at copyright infringement itself, and this is when it comes to photos and videos. So the issue that we have is that large feature accounts or brands often repost aesthetic plant photos without permission. And without permission, meaning they're not crediting the source. So under standard copyright law, the person who presses the shutter owns the image, right? And that can be the shutter on your phone or on a real camera. But citing the creator in a caption when you reshare that or when you post that is not a legal substitute for permission. So then you can hear like arguments saying, well, if I repost or reshare something, then I'm using the feature, right? But with that, there's a difference to actually taking images, downloading them, and then using them in your own content.
Mhm.
So that's where that difference is because obviously, if I put something on a platform such as Facebook or Instagram, I have signed up to their terms and conditions, and the repost or reshare is a feature that I acknowledge, whether I read the fine print or not, but it's a feature that I acknowledge, so I have to expect that people will reshare my content or share it to their stories or whatnot. But like I said, that's different from actually going to a post, downloading the image, or screenshotting it. I know on Instagram you can't download the photos, you'd have to screenshot them, but that's the difference. Now, there is a little bit of a gray zone because if you go to our Instagram, Plant Provenance, you will see that we've created cards or collages of different plants. That is for educational purposes. And it's not that one plant in those cards is like meant for commercial gain or like it's not standalone. These are for educational purposes, and thus that is a bit of a gray zone, like I said. And of course, we credit all of the creators or the owners of those photos. Did you want to say anything on that?
But again, there's just also a gray zone when you make a collage out of different pictures and you're not using the original picture in its whole anymore. So there is not really any clear law against or for it, but like generally speaking, it's a gray zone. So it is allowed to use parts of pictures in a collage. But again, the fact that it's a for educational purposes also makes a difference.
Yeah. Right. And then speaking of influencers and people sharing stuff, I mean, I see it with with a couple of people that I follow where they will like post a screenshot of an account and they'll be like, "Hey, can you please report this person? taking my content, claiming it's theirs, whatever. When we look at influencers, there's a study done very recently, 2025, and this is not just plant influencers. This is any influencers or anybody that does influencer marketing. The study was conducted by the EU IPO, and they found that 92% of influencers earn income from their content, and only 18% of them have registered IP rights. So I guess that makes social media influencers kind of an easy target for theft, and they don't really have the tools to do anything about it other than reporting the accounts in question. Going back to the gray zone, unlike a photo, a method, like, I don't know, a specific propagation technique, is generally not copyrightable, only the expression of it, meaning when I put a process into words and pictures, for instance, I make a guide on Canva on how to propagate Anthurium, then that work in and of itself is protected by IP rights, but not the process that I'm describing, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
So many creators feel like they're trade secrets, meaning, like, I don't know, maybe they've mixed their own specific organic pest spray, that those would be stolen when a larger creator discovers the same recipe a few weeks later and not giving credit. That doesn't work. And of course, just to let you guys know, we are not lawyers. This is not legal advice. This is just us pointing out a few things regarding copyright theft. So when in doubt, ask your legal counsel. And then we have the trademark and brand impersonation, where scammers create or clone accounts using an influencer's name and profile pictures to DM followers, where they like offer exclusive plant deals or they want to steal your credit card info. And this is when you see the big content creators when they're like, hey, make sure when you follow somebody that there's not a random period or underscore or an added letter in the name, etc. So really check the spelling so you know that you're following the real deal.
Yeah.
Also, you should know that many influencers have learned to use Google Lens to find out where their photos are being used without permission, and it's actually their primary tool, like plant police type tool, to track down stolen IP. So if you create content and you want to check if somebody is using your stuff, Google Lens might be your friend,
Or a reverse Google search
or that.
or that. I want to rate weird plants, or at least I want you to rate weird plants.
Okay.
Weird plants, weird plants. Everybody loves weird plants.
Do you have the first one open?
I'm waiting for you to tell me to open it.
Okay, you can open the first one. It's again a name difficult to describe, to pronounce at least. Erisi cristata.
Oh,
Oh. Ooh.
the alien butt cheek plant.
See, normal people would see a brain.
Oh,
Tanya sees butt cheeks.
okay. Yeah, I did see butt cheeks first. It actually looks like somebody is bending over and they're mooning. Anyway, definitely a cactus, I guess, because it's like two ribbed cheeks with little white fluffy balls on, well, not balls, spheres, little white spheres dotted all over the plant where the, what do you call it? The thorns? No, stickers?
Spikes.
Spikes. Yeah, stickers. They're only stickers when they stick.
It's funny when I have to teach you English.
Hello, I'm bilingual. Bilingual? Yeah. Cute. I like it. I could spin stories on this one all day long.
Okay, so the Echinopsis erisi form cristata is also called the brain cactus, so it looks like a brain. It's a rare crested mutation of the South American sea urchin cactus. It's characterized by its fan-shaped, undulating, and brain-like appearance. Again, all description brain, nothing about the butt cheek.
Hmm.
It's a slow-growing, low-maintenance succulent, and it prefers bright sunlight.
Okay, okay. I see. Is it weird? Nah,
Nah.
nah, it's cute, but not weird. I'd give it a 4.
Okay, that's good. Let's up it one. Let's go to the next one. Coletia paradoxa. Have you opened it?
Yes. Okay, first I saw the thumbnail and I'm like, okay, so that's some kind of spiky whatever. But then you open it, and I hope you guys can see this on screen, or you click the link to the image in the show notes. It's giving shark. I don't know why. I
Sure.
loved Yeah, I don't know why. Like, it reminds me of shark teeth and shark fins.
I had like, do you know Escher? Like the painter? Or like
No.
he was like famous for drawing like these kind of towers or bridges that flow into each other. Like it has like perspectives that cannot really work in real life. Like Escher,
Oh,
geometric
yeah, yeah, yeah,
figures.
yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, yep.
So it reminded me of that because like again, when you look at it first glance, you're like, okay, it's like a plant that has some thorns. But then if you look into detail, like to me, it's like how it looks unnatural. It
It
looks
does.
like how, and it's
It also
so
kinda reminds me of little airplanes,
yeah, 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 yeah.
but what's
That's
really weird about it, like, okay, let me go back. It looks like a succulent that has some kind of thorny growth where, like, the tip of the leaves, if they're leaves, are yellow and red and very spiky, and, uh, I can't really say which plant it reminds me of, but yeah, it's weird. It's very geometrical, and the weird
so
thing is the little flowers that pop out of it that look
yeah.
like UFOs or something.
It's always the weird flowers. So the Coletia paradoxa is also called the anchor plant or the jet plane plant. So
Ah.
you are not off with the plane. It's
Yeah,
a rare oddity from South America. So it has no leaves, but flattened blue-green stems that function as leaves. The
okay.
stems are arranged in opposite pairs like boat anchors or airplane propellers.
I'm
Cool,
trying
right?
to find out if there's any rhyme or reason to where these little flowers emerge. I'm guessing they're flowers. 'Cause it looks random at first, but then when you look, it's everywhere where there's a new pair of leaves. Now you have to if you don't see the photo, you have to imagine it's giving, like, one main stem, and then there's branches off of that, and then on that branch, you have pairs of leaves that are turned by 90 degrees, and then, like, everywhere where that turn is, that is where the flowers come out.
It's in the armpits, in the
Yes.
axils.
Yeah. This is okay, this is a good one, yes.
Check.
I could stare at that for a really long time. Do I rate it?
Yeah.
A 9.
Hey, 9.
This
That's
thing is
good.
really cool.
Okay, let's go to the last one.
Alright.
Raulia eximia.
Eczema, that sounds like eczema.
Well, you're not that far off.
Ooh. Ew, what? That's a plant? That looks like mold or I don't know, some kinda cancerous growth.
It's a plant. And look at the top picture. It shows
The
some
flowers.
flowers.
Okay, so what I'm seeing is some kinda outdoor situation, some shrubs or something, and then over it are you sure this is not a fungus?
No, I'm sure.
Like, it looks like a bluish gray cauliflower structure, but like a huge cloud of it covering the shrubs. Like, that is not pretty,
You know, it's from the Asteraceae family.
which is
The
sunflowers, though.
family, yeah, the family of the sunflowers, of the, I think the daffodils also. Marguerite, we say in Dutch. Like, yeah, a lot of
And
flowers.
what also belongs in there, besides sunflowers, is artichoke.
A lot of flowers we know are from the Asteraceae.
Yeah.
But it is endemic to New Zealand. The plant is commonly known by its Maori name Tutahuna and as the true vegetable sheep, suggesting its appearance at a distance resembling a sheep.
With a lot of love, yeah. To me, it just
So,
looks like something went horribly wrong.
yeah, so you can only see the buds that never unfold. So they can be seen externally because their stems are so branched and they have small woolly leaves that are disposed the extremity of the twigs in a closely tight way. That's a difficult way to describe that. You see only like, I think you can compare maybe to like cauliflower.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
Oh, did you? Oh, sorry, I was not listening.
Like a blue grayish cauliflower.
But then,
Man,
that's a mutated flower, cauliflower. But here it's like the bracts, it's leaves,
I would not know
and
how
it's
to
softer.
identify any part of this plant, honestly.
Yeah. Apparently, it's soft to touch.
I wouldn't want to touch that.
Oh, it's woolly.
Ew, brother.
For the ew.
Can I give it a 12?
No. We
Okay,
should
so I
give
give
it
it
a
a 10 with an asterisk. I can't even pronounce that. I always say
asterisk.
asterisk.
Yeah.
That is some of the weirdest plant shit I've ever seen.
Ta-da!
Where do we go from here, Jos?
Yeah. Well, that's a question. I do find it harder every week to find new weird plants, but yeah, I'm guessing we still
I'm
have
gonna
a.
go next time, okay? I'm gonna go next time because I saved some weird stuff.
Okay.
But
Looking forward.
this one was good. You started really low and
Well,
inconspicuously, and then you absolutely
I
tore it up.
mean, you have to build it up. Otherwise, only disappointment. What was that? Cougar Tanya coming out. Ah.
Oh, God. All right. Okay. Uh, let's wrap it up.
Let's see you next week.
Well, that was a that was a quick letdown.
Well, yeah, you said let's wrap it up. See you next week.
I'll wrap it up for you guys. I won't let you
Okay.
down that fast. Thank you so much for listening. Be sure to like and share. Come back next time
Yes.
and send us your topic requests. Like, I'd love that. What would you want us to talk about? Maybe we'll do it. Maybe we won't. I don't know. You'll have to suggest to find out. No, honestly, love you guys. Have a really good week. Happy growing and take care of yourself.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Pop culture.